Okay, hold on. A black Mormon? Ain't no way, man. That's preposterous, bro. Aren't they racist? Isn't that a cult? Is the infamous Dave Chappelle character Clayton Bigsby now Lheighton Bigsby? Man, listen, we're going to talk about it all, man. All I can say is Dr. Umar is probably not going to be happy about this one. All right, man, so here's the thing, man. Let me just tell you this. You're going to want to watch this episode to the end. I'm just saying that flat out. You're going to have to watch this all the way through. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to be talking about a lot of things. But I think it's important first to tell you the inspiration of why I wanted to make this episode in the first place and put this out there in a public way. And it is because about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, me and my mentor Bejos were in Orlando, Florida. We were at an event thrown by our friend Kasky. Shout out to Kasky, always doing things to inspire and better the youth. And we were out there, and Bejos was one of the speakers at the event. And I was in the back of the room listening to Bejos speak, and he shares a lot of unflattering truths about himself. He tells a lot about himself in his story in a really real, raw way, and shares some stories that most people will probably feel uncomfortable sharing. Like he talks about being molested growing up by older boys in his town when he was living in Armenia, and he talks about how it was confusing to him because he's like, am I gay? Like, did I do something to make those boys do that to me? He talks about being a foreigner to this country and, people bullying him and not knowing the language and people telling him, go back to your effing country and all these different things, right? Just stories that most people probably wouldn't want to share. It doesn't make you look good, I guess you can say. And so I asked him later on that night, we were at dinner, and I asked him, I said, hey, B, like, I understand why you share those stories because it helps kind of humanize you and make you seem relatable and show that you have problems in adversity that you had to get through as well. But is there anything that you don't share? And he says, no. But he looks at me and he can tell that, I had something to say. So he said, but why do you ask? And I said, well, I don't know if you know this, but I'm LDS. And I didn't really, it's like if someone asked me about it, if they asked me about my beliefs, whatever, I would say it. But I didn't publicly go, I guess, come out the closet. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't publicly put it out there because I was just like, I didn't want to deal with the Kanye treatment, man. Kanye put on the red Trump hat. He's a coon. He's a sellout. He's Uncle Tom, all this stuff. Hodge twins, they come out with how they're Republican and they're sellouts. They're white supremacists. The list goes on and on as far as black people, I guess, doing something different than the norm or than the masses, the majority of us. And then all of a sudden they're not true blue no more. And so I didn't want to deal with that. And I explained that to him. And he said, well, do you feel called to talk about it? I said, I don't know. Yes and no. I feel like no, because it's not really anybody's business, but yes, because maybe there's somebody out there who maybe there's another black person, another African-American person who's interested in the church, but they're kind of like, well, I don't see any other black people talking about it. I don't see any black members. I'm not going to go be a part of it. Right. So anyways, I was like, I kind of do. I feel like it's something that I should talk about. Just, I don't want to become the religious guy on YouTube, but I feel like maybe I should discuss it just in one video to tell my story. So that's what I'm going to do today. I want to say this though, before I even do that. I want three points that I want to make. Number one is I'm not interested in converting anybody. I'm not even going to really talk about the religion and the church itself per se. And so that's that. I'm just telling you my personal story and my experience of what prompted me to make the decision to get baptized and convert. Number two, we actually don't call ourselves Mormon. I said that in the beginning, a black Mormon, whatever, because that's what draws people's attention. They understand, they recognize our church as the Mormon church. When in reality, it's not the Mormon church. It just became a nickname for us that we went along with over time because the Book of Mormon. And so I was like, oh, those Mormons, whatever, it just became a thing. But we're not Mormons, and we actually don't go by that nickname anymore. And I'll explain a little bit later on why we don't, but that's number two. We just say we're LDS, or we say we go to the Church of Jesus Christ, Latter-day Saints, whatever. Anyways, number three, I'm gonna keep it all the way 1,000 on this. Like I'm gonna be open. I'm gonna tell you all the details. And because another thing Bejo said, he said, hey, listen, man, if you're gonna do this episode, you gotta tell him the story exactly how you just told me this. All the details. It's gotta be funny how you just told me some of the jokes you made. You gotta tell him the uncomfortable parts, the skepticism, all of that. So I'm gonna give it to you raw. So with that being said, Mom, I know you watch my content. My wife, Betsy, I love you, but maybe you want to skip this video. Even the youth of the church or maybe members of the church, you might want to skip this video too, because I'm gonna give all the details about myself. So maybe you might want to skip it, but it's going to be interesting nonetheless. So let's get into it. I think it's important to first talk about my relationship with religion and spirituality in the first place. And that is that I grew up in a Christian household, growing up with my mom. And, we're still Christian now, obviously, but there's a lot of people that might say, well, you're not real Christians, you're Mormon. You're not a real Christian. We're Christian, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like the church's name is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Jesus Christ is the cornerstone of our belief. So that's that. Moving along. So anyways, I grew up in a Christian household my whole life, right? And me and my mom went to church every Sunday. And, I was part of the youth group. And every once in a while after we go to church, we as a group would go to do something, activity together. One time in eighth grade going into freshman year, after church, all the youth, we all went to In-N-Out, right? So we're hanging out, having a good time, whatever. I saw a girl cross the restaurant. I was like, hey, she kind of cute, right? So I didn't talk to her during the time, but after we went home or a day later or whatever it was, I looked up on Facebook, found her on there, and, gamed her up. We started dating, right? That's the short version. So it's important to add this because it'll be more important later on in the story. I never been into drinking or smoking. That's just never been my thing. I was always kind of the oddball out when it came to that. Obviously being a skater, that was like different, not smoking, not drinking, being 14, 15, 16, like that was like weird. And I've always been straight edge. It just wasn't my thing. This girl that I was talking to that we started dating, she liked drinking, she liked smoking, she liked partying. That was just her thing. She liked having a good time that way. I didn't like that. So I told her, hey, listen, if you're going to continue to do that, that's totally fine. But I don't like that. I don't roll that way. And I'm not attracted to girls who do that. So if you want to stay together, you're going to have to stop. I'm not going to make you stop. But if you want to be with me, I don't roll like that. Right. So she stopped, or at least she tried anyways. And word of advice for all the guys watching, I don't care how old you are, or even if you're a girl, guy, doesn't matter. Don't ever try and change your boyfriend or girlfriend to stop doing something or to start doing something just for you. I tell you that because it's going to be 9 out of 9 times it's going to be short-lived. It's not going to last because they did it because you told them to, or you gave them an ultimatum. It's not a good idea, but I was younger and that was kind of how I rolled, right? So anyways, that's that. Now, although I didn't drink or smoke, I was having sex. Be honest with you. That was my vice. I never drank, never smoked, but I was definitely, I was doing that. So that's that. That's important to add because her and I were doing that all through high school, all the time, all the years we were together. Now, out of nowhere, or seemingly out of nowhere for me anyways, she got really religious. And when I say really religious, I mean that she just started taking things very seriously. Like even to the point where it would get uncomfortable when we were doing our thing. You know what I'm saying? Like she would get emotional. Like she would start to get teary-eyed and kind of like, it just was weird. I was like, whoa, I was automatically like, nope, we ain't doing this. Well, you got to go home. I'll take you home right now. No problems. Like, this is weird. What's going on? She, no, it's okay. We can keep going. Like, no. We ain't doing that. Like, it was weird, right? She just felt so guilty that we were sinning, and she got really religious. That's what I mean when I say that. Another example I'll give you, it's funny now, but in the moment, I was like, this girl is tripping. We went on a date somewhere. We're coming back, and I'm listening to Tupac, right? Pac's my man, you know what I'm saying? My 2 favorite artists of all time, fun fact about me, is Tupac and Selena. Those are my 2 all-time favorite artists, right? So we're coming back from this date, and I'm just vibing. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to Pac. I got it blast all the way up.
About to get wrecked. All respect to those who break their necks and keep their sweat in check. And no taste sweater, brother, majorly. And I don't know why your girl major me.
And I'm just riding, I'm vibing, whatever. I'm having a good time. We just going back home. She turns over, grabs the knob, turns the radio down. She looks at me. She got the audacity to go, I know you really love Tupac and you have his posters and you love his music and, look up to him, but you shouldn't worship false idols. I said, what? What? Is she talking to me? I was like, she's bugging. What's going on? This don't make no sense. So anyways, that was an example of how serious she started taking it. And no disrespect to her. It just kind of it's just weird. I was just kind of like, you're taking you need to relax, shorty, like calm down. But so that's my first example, right? It just felt like, she just got super religious out of nowhere and, whatever. But I was like, hey, I'm having a good time. I knew I shouldn't have been doing what I was doing, but I was enjoying myself. I ain't gonna lie. I was being a guy. Okay. Shouldn't have been doing it, but I was out here. I was active. Anyways, that's situation number 1. Situation number 2, actually, the girl that I was dating before the girl I just told you about in junior high, we rekindled a relationship. I found her on Instagram or whatever the app was at the time. Started flirting back and forth, ended up meeting up, doing the thing. And by the way, I just got to add that she went to Calabasas. Obviously, if you don't know, that's a Christian college, but she obviously wasn't active like that. So we did our thing. A month or a couple weeks later, however long it was, I don't remember. It was that same situation where she's like, hey, like, are you up? Or one of those, like, are you up? You get those texts like 1 a.m, you awake? I said, oh, snap. But yeah, you can, I'll pick you up. You can come back to the crib. My mom worked night shift. I'll just bring you back. Sorry, Mom. Listen, I told you not to turn the episode off right now. Just put earmuffs on. Like, you don't need to know that. Maybe you already knew that. My mom was very smart. She probably already knew what was going on. She knew I was out here. It's kind of awkward. So anyways, I was like, yeah, just pick you up, bring you back to the crib. My mom already went to work, whatever, whoop de whoop. Like, yeah, we'll have a good time. Go pick her up. We come back home and, about to go down. That's all the detail I'm going to give you. I don't need to go any farther than that. Right before it happens, she goes, stop, wait. this just feels wrong. I kind of want to save myself for marriage. I said, what? You knew what you was doing over here. So anyways, she was like, automatically, like if I hear any kind of, hesitation, whatever, or discomfort, I'm like, yep, nope, you're good. We're good. We're moving on. No worries. I'll take you home right now. No problems, whatever. Like black people have PTSD, man. We ain't trying to get in no kind of trouble. So I was like, yeah, I'll take you right home right now. Let's hop in the car. Let's go. I'm ready to go. So anyways, that's situation number 2. Another situation where it was like, bro, what is going on? Like randomly, these girls are getting religious. It's like I get drawn into them. We're like having fun, whatever, having a good time. And then boom. It's like he's trying to talk to me, but I'm not gonna lie, I was ignoring him. I was trying to run. I was like, I'm out here, I'm having a good time. You can't catch me out. I'm running. I'm doing it. I'm in these streets. Anyways, situation number 3. And before I get into telling you about situation number 3, I gotta tell you that I got really into learning Spanish. And I just loved the culture. Quería aprender español porque me encantaba, me fascinaba la cultura entera. Me encantaba la música, como dije. Una de mis artistas favoritas era Salina, entonces, pero no entendí la letra. Entonces tenía sentido aprender español, practicar todos los días para que entiendo. Y también me encantaba el boxeo. Uno de mis boxeadores favoritos eran latinos. Entonces como Miguel Cotto, Canelo, Guillermo Regendao de Cuba, Erislan Lara de Cuba también. Gente así. That's how it went down, you know what I'm saying? That's why I really got into learning Spanish, right? So that's important for this next situation I'm going to tell you about, you know what I'm saying? Situation number 3, I'm working at this place called Active. It's a skate shop, right? I was a manager at the time. I was one of the key holders, and we have seasonal hires that come in to help us during Christmas season. It's going to be really busy. So we got all these new people coming in. I see this one girl come in, one shawty, this bad Latina come in there named Betsy. I said, oh, dang, what's good? And she going to laugh right now. But that's not how it happened. You weren't attracted to me, whatever. But she don't know what she's talking about. I have my eyes on her, but, it just didn't work out right away. It didn't pan out. The plan, was we're playing the long game. So anyways, some stuff happened. That's a whole other episode. Some stuff happened. We didn't get together right away. We started off as friends, then we became best friends, and then we started dating, and then that's how it kind of happened. But when we started dating, before we started dating, we were just really good friends. We became so close because she would help me with my Spanish. Like we would meet up at Starbucks or she'd come over or whatever, and we practiced Spanish. She'd give me Spanish lessons. She was the best Spanish teacher I could ever ask for. Let me tell you. Just got to throw that in there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the real deal. Now I got kids. I had kids with my Spanish tutor. I don't know what happened, but it just got carried away. I don't know what happened. But anyways, man, I knew that she was a member of the church. I knew that she was LDS, but I didn't really know what that meant. I was like, man, she's Mormon, but that don't make no sense. She's Mexican. You sure you're not Catholic? Ain't no way you're Mexican. Ain't no way you're Mormon. Ain't no way. That don't make no sense. That's just weird. What? That always fascinated me, but we never spoke about it. And I know she wasn't active. She wasn't practicing because we were doing some things, if you know what I'm saying. I'm not going to give you more details, but you know what I'm talking about, man. My vice, my problem, man. You know what I'm saying? So randomly, how it happens routinely, 8 months in the relationship, we went to the zoo for my birthday, right? We're driving back from the zoo, and Betsy gets serious. She's like, yeah, I want to talk to you about something. I said, yeah, what's up? She says, I want to get sealed. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know what that meant. I knew it was something with kind of taking our relationship to the next level, but I didn't know what it really meant. And for you guys that don't know, being sealed is when you're LDS, you get married in the temple. I didn't know that. So I'm just like, oh yeah, well, can we go right now? We can get sealed. Like, what is it? What is it? You know what I'm saying? Let's do it right now, girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, we in love, we're young and in love, whatever, right? I had no idea what she was talking about. She's like, no, you don't understand. Like, being sealed is like, you get married in the temple. You have to be married. You have to be a member as well. Da 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 da. And I'm like, oh yeah, right. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I told her, hey, listen, I'm interested in having an open mind and kind of learning about the church, but I can't promise you anything, man. It's kind of like Mormon thing. Like I don't know, man. There was a lot of hesitation. I'll just tell you that, man. Especially being black, I'm like, ugh. And honestly, truth be told, the only reason I entertained it was because she was Mexican, and I knew that her family spoke Spanish. So I was intrigued. I was like, why are you guys going to that church? I didn't get it. I was just like, I just thought white people, blonde hair, blue eyed from Utah. In fact, if my ex-girlfriend, who I dated for a few years, she was blonde hair, blue eyed, if she had tried to introduce the idea of becoming LDS, I'd have been like, hell no, I don't belong there. I ain't go. No way. That's like the movie that you see in that movie, Get Out. That's what it felt like. If somebody like her complexion would have asked me that, I'd have been like, yeah, that's a full stop. Absolutely not. Right. But anyways, with Betsy, it was different. I was intrigued. I was like, huh. I said, let me just learn on my own and kind of do my thing, whatever. I'll figure it out. I go home. I get on Google. I'm Googling stuff. I got myself into trouble, man. I just start Googling. That's probably what you guys going to do right now when you're watching this video or after you watch the video. Google will get you in trouble, man. I'm telling you, because there's all kinds of stuff out there. You don't know what you're reading. There's all kinds of different anti-Mormon websites and all this stuff, putting out stuff out there. Listen, man, it ain't true. You know what I'm saying? But I'll tell you the truth about some of the stuff that is true. We'll get there in a second. So anyways, I get myself in trouble, man. I'm Googling all this stuff about black people in the church. Are there black members? I don't see anybody. You know, is there whatever? How does it work? And I see all this stuff about Mormons are racist. And, you know, they teach their kids that that black people are cursed. And that's why they have black skin. They were cursed with black skin. It's the curse of Cain and all this stuff, right? And I'm like, oh, hell nah, I'm joining this church. Ain't no way. I'm like almost upset with Betsy. I'm like, why would you even ask me that? Like, ain't no way I'm about to join that church. Like, I'm like, no. So I go back, I tell Betsy, I'm like, yo, there's no way. This ain't gonna happen. Like, I saw this on the website, I saw this on the internet, this blog, this whatever. And she's like, those are not, that's not true though. And I'm like, but I saw it on Google. I Googled it, it came up. I saw it. Like, no, I'm not doing this, right? She's like, no, seriously, that's not true. And she explained some stuff. We had a conversation about it. But I was still on the fence. I was like, I just don't feel right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw what I saw and whatever, whoop. So anyways, fast forward. Maybe 2 months later after that. It was a Sunday morning, and I texted her. It was like 8 in the morning, I think. I texted her. I said, hey, because at this point she had started going back to church. She wanted to be more active and participate again. Yet another girl who got religious. Again, I mean, this might be too much information, but again, it was a similar situation, similar scenario where Betsy and I were doing our thing, and she would get emotional because she felt so guilty for what we were doing. And I said, oh my gosh, why does this keep happening to me? Like, I literally was like, Tyrese,
what more do you want from me?
Like, it just kept happening over and over and over again. I'm like, I hear you're trying to talk to me, man. I hear your message. I don't care, but I'm just trying to have a good time, man. Why is this happening? But again, that third time I was like, yo, there's something different. Something's going on. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, and kind of throughout my life, I've had experiences like that where even when I was just traditionally Christian, I'll say, I never talked about my beliefs because I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be the religious dude. I just kind of like lived my life personally, and that's all it was to me. Like, it was a personal relationship between me and God. I didn't have to talk to anyone else about it. It didn't matter. I didn't need to be a preacher. But still, even without me saying anything, people would feel inclined to talk to me about church and ask me my opinions and what are my beliefs, and they felt comfortable asking me questions about prayer and this and that. So I don't know what that is, but I've always had those experiences where people felt comfortable to talk to me about those things. And so now I'm getting called each time, 3 different girls, 3 different situations. It was just like every girl I was with, it was like they would just turn crazy religious. And I was like, what is going on? So anyways, let me go back to what I was saying. I text her. I say, hey, listen, did you already leave for church this morning? She says, no, why? I said, can I go with you? And she's like, yeah, for sure. Like, we're going to leave in like 45 minutes, whatever. We met up, right? And I go to church with her. I go with her and her family. I go in there, and I don't know what I was expecting. I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting it to be like that Terry Crews clip from White Chicks.
Negro, please. Didn't somebody tell you this was an all-white party? Huh? Someone get this jigaboo away from me.
So I didn't know what to expect. I was like, well, I don't know what it's gonna be like, whatever. But anyways, it wasn't like that, obviously. And I went in there, and either way, you guys don't understand this, so let me help you understand. They're called wards when you go into a church building, right? So there's different wards. And in this specific church building, there was English ward and there was a Spanish ward. Betsy and her family went to the Spanish ward. So my first introduction, just learning about the church was all in Spanish at first. I went with them. We sung the songs in Spanish. We not celebrated, but they gave their talks in Spanish. I talked to all the members. They were all excited, like, oh, snap, he's Dominican, he's Cuban, he's Puerto Rican, oh, snap, he speaks Spanish. And I was like, no, I'm just black. Like, oh, snap, he's just black, he speaks Spanish. Like, they embraced me, they loved me. It was such a good time. And I loved it. I loved how I was like, dude, this is dope. Like, this is cool. This is not what I was thinking at all, and, whatever else. And anyways, so I was hanging out with the Spanish ward, having a good time, learning about the gospel and just kind of just being there, being a visitor and just kind of seeing what it's about. And one of the guys from the English ward, Frankie, shout out to Frankie if you're watching this, love you, bro. He was in the English ward. And so he's like, hey, you're a visitor, right? I haven't seen you here. I was like, yeah, I'm a visitor. He says, oh, it's cool, whatever. And we kind of he talked to me for like 5-10 minutes and we became, cool, right? And he goes, I asked him, I said, hey, Frankie, how do you learn more about the church without I don't want to Google stuff, bro. I don't want to be on the computer. Like, is there someone I can talk to? How does it work? You know what I'm saying? He's like, dude, good question. We can set you up with the missionaries. They can teach you lessons, whatever, and answer any questions you want. They'll teach you whatever. And that's the best way. You know, internet will tell you all kinds of stuff that's not true, whatever, right? I said, cool, let's do that. So start taking the lessons with the missionaries. And the way it works is I think it's 7 lessons total. Each lesson is an hour, and there's only 1 lesson a week. So there's only an hour a week that they're going to spend with you. So they don't want to overwhelm you. They kind of give you it spaced out, you know, whatever. Take your time, right? They're not trying to rush you or push you or anything. So it's just an hour every week. So lesson number 1, they teach me, you know, it's cool, right? We get together at Frankie's house because he offered his house. He's like, yeah, I can host it. Like we can, you know, I'll have food for us. We can hang out. You can just learn. We'll have, you know, just a non-threatening environment. I said, cool, let's do that. So anyways, we meet up at Frankie's house. So we have cookies, lemonade, you know, fruit, whatever else. And we just hang out and talk. 1 lesson went, and every time we leave, by the way, it's important to add that when we get in the car, Betsy was always she wanted to know what my thoughts were. She was excited, but kind of nervous. But kind of nervous at the same time. She's like, well, how do you feel? Like, do you have any questions? You know, whatever else. And I would always tell her the same answer every time. I'm good. It was cool. And I didn't really have much to say. I was just kind of like, that's cool. Yeah. Nice guys. It was cool. Yeah. No questions. Oh, okay. And she didn't have anything really to say, right? So lesson 1 happens. Next week, lesson 2 happens. Then lesson 3 happens. Now we're on the 4th week. Lesson 4 happens. And during lesson 4, this is where it gets crazy. So lesson 4, and we're all sitting around the table, and I don't know what happened. Well, I mean, now I understand what happened, but I didn't at the time. I didn't understand what was going on. I'm sitting there talking to them. They're looking at me in the eyes, and I lost my hearing. I'm seeing them talk to me, but I just see them like flapping their lips, like just moving their mouth, like they're talking, but the words, I can't hear anything. And I'm tripping out. I'm like, what the heck? Like, did he put something in my lemonade? Did I eat something? Are these regular cookies? What are these? What do you do to me? So I'm sitting there. I literally lost my hearing. I'm tripping out. But I lost my hearing because it was completely drowned out by other feelings I was feeling in my body. I felt this really warm feeling in my chest. I felt, you know, I get goosebumps even telling the story. It's crazy. I got like these goosebumps, these pins and needles, like, but it was like a good feeling. It wasn't weird. It wasn't anxiety. It was like, I was happy. I was like feeling really like, I was like feeling light. I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, I never been high before, but I can tell you it probably felt something like that. So I'm just feeling good. I'm just like, what the heck, right? The feeling lasted maybe 15 to 20 seconds. Didn't seem like, now talking about it, doesn't seem like that was that long, but it felt like a long time. So anyways, we leave, we get in the car. Betsy asked me, hey, how do you feel? You know, any questions? I said, no, I'm good. No questions. Yeah, it was cool. I didn't tell her about the feeling because I didn't want her to jump on me and be like, oh, cool. You felt the spirit. You felt it, bro. Let's get you baptized. I didn't want to do that. So I didn't tell her. So I kept it to myself, right? So anyways, next lesson, 5th week. We're meeting up again. Same scenario, sitting around the table. Frankie has the cookies, the lemonades, the fruit, whatever. I didn't touch him this time, man. I didn't want to eat nothing. I said, listen, if this dude puts something in my drink, I'm not going to have it happen again. If he puts something in these cookies, I ain't going to eat it. So anyways, I didn't eat anything, right? He kept, you know, he's a good host too. He's like, eat cookies, man. My wife just made it freshly baked for you. I said, I bet she did. I bet she did make them fresh, man. What'd you put in these, man? So I didn't eat the cookies, right? We're chilling, hanging out, and I'm waiting for the feeling. I'm like, am I going to feel it again? Like, where's that feeling at? I want to feel that feeling again. I want to feel that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm waiting for it. It wasn't coming. So then I took my focus off of the feeling and I just focused on being in the conversation, actually genuinely being interested in the conversation. And then that's when it happened again. When I focused on the words they were saying, I felt it again, man. And this time I got to fully embrace it, not be nervous about what it was. I just sat in that feeling of being warm, almost like I was being held and comforted. I was happy. I got pins and needles. I was excited. I was, you know, I felt all these different feelings. I felt calm, peace, all these things, right? Joy, positive feelings, man. I was like, wow, like in that moment, I was like, that's my confirmation. Like, I know that I'm supposed to be here. It's happened more times than that, but that was the time where I decided, I said, no, this feels good. I was kind of trying to deny it, be honest with you. I was fighting it. Like, you know, I loved Betsy. I want to be with her, but I was like, I don't know if this is what I have to do to be with her or be married, whatever. I don't know if I can do this, right? And I told her that. And it ended up where I was like, no, I got that feeling myself. And it continually happened, and it happened in other situations as well that, you know, maybe we'll save that for another episode.
I don't think that's how conversion works. I don't even think you choose to convert, no more than you choose to believe that the sky is blue or that the ocean's filled with water. I believe that conversion is something that happens to you. Now, I've been doing a lot of reading. A lot of people in Dubai have gifted me some wonderful books, The Miracles of the Prophet Muhammad and so on. And I enjoy reading this material. Conversion isn't something that I plan to do because I don't believe it's something people plan to do. I believe it's something that naturally happens to people and something that, you know, you don't choose, because you don't choose to change your mind. You don't choose to change your mind. Your mind just naturally changes as you're persuaded.
I share that with you, man, because it's so important to listen to your own You know, you got to listen to your body. You got to listen to how you feel, your intuition, your gut. You got to listen to that, man, because, you know, a lot of people might be like, man, don't put this video out. A lot of black people, they'll be like, don't put this video out, man. They're going to take your black car, bro. Like, they're going to tell you you're a sellout, your Uncle Tom, whatever. Listen, man, listen. I love my people, but I got to say this, man. The African-American community is one of the biggest mobs out there, and you guys going to be like, oh, what did he say? Let me explain what I mean. African-American community, LGBTQ community, the feminist movement, that community. These communities, if you're in it, or even if you're not in it, you can't say anything or do anything that's supposedly going against what they're about. And when I say a mob, when I say they're a mob, is because it gets aggressive sometimes, man. Like if you do something differently that's not, you know, like, let me give you an example. If you're black and you support the police in public, you are a sellout. Bro, are you seriously, what? You like the cops? Oh, you hear this dude, David, so he gets down with the cops, man. Man, he a sellout. Listen, we hear that all the time. You hear about, you know, a black person coming out as Republican. Dude, he hang out with them white supremacists? What? You ain't a Democrat? Oh, snap. You speak properly. You know how to properly enunciate. You know how to properly articulate thoughts. You're intelligent, in other words, right? You speak English the way it's supposed to be spoken. Yes, I said it. And then they're like, man, this dude corny, man. He talk white. He's square. Man, you have no idea how many times I heard that growing up in Chino Hills, man. Growing up in Chino Hills, I speak the way I speak, man. I got a good education. Whatever, man. Whatever, right? Being around other people and man, you talk white. You talk white. What you talk white for? Listen, man, just because I said for and not faux, I said I'm gonna go to the store real quick. I didn't say the liquor store. You know what I'm saying? Let me get off, man. I'm gonna get canceled. Listen, now they might take my black card. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna make those jokes. So I apologize. I'm not really sorry. Real truth, but whatever. Anyways, man, all jokes aside, I want all my people, when I say my people, black people, but all people alike, man, I want you to know there's nothing you can do to make you less whatever it is you are. There's nothing I can do to make myself less black. You can't take that away from me, no matter how hard you try. I don't care what it is that I represent or believe in. There's nothing you can do to take that away. So I want that message to be received from everyone watching this. There's nothing you can do to make that happen. Like, you know, black person growing up skateboarding, my cousins used to make fun of me sometimes, like, oh, you out there skating with them white boys still? Because they were playing ball, they were playing football, whatever, basketball, and I was skateboarding, you know what I'm saying? That was my thing. But then it changed when I got sponsored. They were like, oh, snap, I always knew you would make it, cuz, you know, that's cool. I was like, man, y'all didn't know I was gonna make it. Y'all was hating. You know, that's the whole chip on my shoulder from growing up with, you know, some cousins that were rough around the edges sometimes, but you know, I love them. And anyways, I'm saying that to say this. There's nothing you can do to make yourself less whatever you are, less black, less Hispanic, less Asian, whatever it is. Bro, we're all different. It is what it is. Different folks, different strokes. So there's that. It's that kind of thinking that keeps us behind. Thinking that we have to be the same. We have to all believe the same beliefs. We have to have, you know, the same political party. We have to move the same way. We have to speak the same way. Bro, we are not from the same places. So we're not going to have the same values, beliefs, rituals, whatever. And while I'm on that note, I want you guys to know this, that I'm not sitting here defending everyone in the church. I'm absolutely not. Because are there perhaps some racist people in some cities, in some states, etc.? Absolutely. But I want to tell you that it's not the church telling them to be that way. That is a cultural thing. That is where they live. They perceive black people, Hispanic people, whoever people to be a certain way. But that wasn't something that was based from the religion. You know what I'm saying? You might have people push back. Well, they taught this, not. Bro, listen, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to have to make a whole other episode talking about that. I'll address that in another video. I want to end it with this, man. You got to be a leader. You got to be a leader, man. My mom used to always tell me that growing up. You got to be a leader, man. You are a leader, not a follower. And this is an example of me leading. You don't have to follow my lead. I'm not saying you have to. I'm not even saying that I want you to follow my lead. But I'm saying that if you have something about you that's different, live it, bro. What you scared for? It's different. You're supposed to be different. You know what I'm saying? We're not all supposed to be alike. Own up to it. Be proud. Be a good individual. Treat people well. Treat yourself well. Carry yourself with respect. Be confident. Hold your head high. Be respectful. Be a respectful human being and you will be fine. The real will always follow. So I leave that with you. I just want to say thanks for watching to the end. And we're going to make some more conversations about this. I feel like I left some details out, but I just want to put that out there because I feel like it might help some people out and, you know, provide some clarity with some things. So shout out to anybody who watched the whole video. I love y'all. See you in the next video. Boom.